I'd love to hear what you're.
Yes, so I'm starting to record the session so we can have the recording. But yeah, so welcome everyone. And yes, so building reputation for my project and for our project is so we are looking into a crypto wallet and looking into the wallet interactions, past transactions, the types of tokens, and the types also of other wallets that this wallet have interacted and how we can rate them and kind of like create a scoring system that is similar to a credit score to build a reputation around that particular wallet or bundle of wallets. So in the context of how we can interact and collaborate with people who have like a vetted profile. So that's basically how. I know that Chris is also working in collaboration and in reputation building and scoring. So yeah, I would love also to hear more from that.
Yeah, you two have much more tech backing you than I have. I'm doing a lot of tests, and I appreciate what you guys are building. You guys are really doing a great job. And I'm building reputation in my wallets, but they're mostly tests to see how people react. If it's easy to scale it, like if I can have somebody else create a token and then send it to me, it's a reputation thing. I onboarded them, I taught them how to do it, and they sent me something special that I helped them learn. So I know that person now. I facilitated a transaction with them, but I had them custom craft something. So I'm working on onboarding in different methods and voting in different methods, but using the chain and customizing things to craft items that might show history.
Awesome. So what kind of history in particular are you trying to build with your scoring?
So I get that big CSV file, and I would love to like shoot it over to Steph and see if he can break that down into pieces where these are the transactions where you sent stuff to people. These are the transactions that somebody sent something to you. These are the transactions sent something to you and you send something back, and sort of seeing, if you build like a graph of who interacted with everybody on the chain, you'll start to see that certain people did start to bring people in, and that was the beginning of a lot of these other ones' reputations. And if you start to develop, the timeline of the wallet and where the interactions occurred during when it was built, you'll see the staking keys, you'll see different policy IDs, you'll see transaction IDs, and if you can make sense of it all in a graphic, I think it would be something that you could show reputation. Just something I'm looking at. Like IOTA Tangle, it shows a graphical representation of what is connecting to their chain, building their chain. Same thing we can kind of do with a reputation. If someone has a strong reputation around themselves, you probably can trust doing business with them, versus someone who just started a new wallet, doesn't have any ADA, and doesn't have any transactions with anybody. That's the reputation I'm kind of looking to build, but organically, because we don't have ITOLA just yet to embed in it. But if I can onboard and verify people, I feel like it's really a step in the right direction.
Awesome. Yeah, that's also something that we are looking into, like how we can give a score to, for example, a new wallet that hasn't done any transaction, doesn't have any ADA, for example. And then for example, these wallets start to interact with other wallets for example, in a suspicious way, and start to send tokens to try to boost their reputation. Yeah, we are looking into how we can deal with those use cases. And how you guys are interacting with ATOLA Prism platform?
There's a ITOLA Pioneer program, and I believe I shot you over Anushka's contact info. She's the best one for me to contact in ITOLA right now, as far as I know.
Awesome. Yeah, I was looking into her profile. I still need to reach out to her.
She's in another room, the Decentralized identity room. If you want to go say hi, she's awesome. Her name's Anushka. She's in another room. right now.
Awesome. Yeah, I will go after this.
Yeah,
So.
they hold weekly. She's pretty much in here every week unless someone else has decided that they are doing a room on identity. So she's regular around here for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, Peter. Hi. How are you?
Doing very well. Happy Wednesday.
Cool. So yeah, so what are your thoughts in general on how we can improve reputation, also improve collaboration in the Cardano ecosystem?
Money usually helps people collaborate. Incentive.
Yeah.
And by money, you mean like creating a grant system of maybe rewarding people with some tokens if they flagged bad actors, or for example, if they flagged people who are acting badly in the community or harming the reputation of others. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I'm not really concerned about that. Everybody can do whatever they want, and you can't really harm my reputation on the blockchain. There's nothing you can really do to me besides talk crap on social media. There's nothing you can do. It's transactions, it's money. I want to focus on the proof of stake, because the money, if you have no stake in Cardano, you can't play. You can't do anything. You have no reputation. So it doesn't matter if you have a wallet with nothing and you're a bad player, you have no money, you have no power. So if I got, say, 5 ADA for everybody that I onboarded into Cardano, it would incentivize me to keep doing it. Otherwise, every time I onboard someone, it's $5, $10 out of my pocket. And I do that just because it's me. But no one else is going around spending $5 on every single person who's interested in Cardano. So if I got funded to just pass out tokens and educate people, I'm already doing it anyway. But I'm not going to just keep doing it for no money. I can onboard someone, build their reputation up, get them to go buy ADA and put it in their wallet, and it shows on the blockchain because I onboarded them what they did. And one thing after another, it will lead down the road later on that you'll interact with that wallet again, or somebody will, and they'll see your token in it, and it will have that reputation. So every time I meet somebody, I send them tokens. Yeah, it costs me 2 ADA, but if I keep onboarding people, people will start to notice eventually.
So
maybe it'll compensate me.
So basically, you're saying that, for example, a rewarding mechanism will incentivize people.
Yeah, or else it's unsustainable. I'll just run out of money. You know what I mean? I just keep making my own money and buying more to give it out. But in reality, I should just be compensated for the work I'm doing. But that's reputation. It's hard to see.
Yeah, there's communities that are starting to try and play with reputation systems, but it's just really, we need the tools to do it, and then people in those communities to actually have some way to make that reputation valuable to them. So like in shit, I lost my train of thought. In Catalyst Swarm, we're thinking of using gimbal tokens for, so like you signed up for this after town hall breakout room. All right. So when you come to a town hall or any community event meeting, it would be the community interested in tokenomics inside Swarm is thinking about joining with Gimbal Labs and using their gimbal tokens to award people X amount of gimbal for every event they attend. And then you build up and then if you want to sign up for after town hall breakout room, or you want to sign up for a Swarm session, you would spend some of your gimbal to do that. So that's an initial like cycle of something we can do with our reputation. And that's just an experiment that's in the works already.
Yeah. So basically with Gimbal Labs, in Swarm, you are creating a token that is gamifiable, so people can send it in between each other, and then once they receive that, they can get more, or how does it work? Like, is it like fungible or non-fungible?
It'd be gimbals already exist and they're fungible.
Okay.
Yeah.
This sounds a lot like a social credit score almost, except tokenized.
Yeah, that's what reputation systems would be, right? Pretty much. But generated by a decentralized network rather than a centralized network, hopefully.
So are all of you on the same page about the importance of reputation in, like, what is the immediate first purpose of knowing reputation? It's so that you can more quickly get shared context for a person, or you can have, is it a time-saving thing? Is it a trust thing?
Go with
like
that trust.
You say again,
Trust.
Chris? Yeah, it's to, okay, so if we're operating on blockchain level and we already are establishing some level of common knowledge that there's we understand the rules of the system and we understand how it works, and we both agree that when we engage in this activity, this is how it's going to play out. So there's that level of trust. Then one level on top of that is, perhaps, Peter, I've seen you in these meetings, but I don't really know you, but I have access to maybe like some NFTs that you hold, and those are badges of you've gone through Gimbal Plutus program, you've gone through, you're a DREP, you're you've been funded in these proposals, and so now I know that you've done something in these specific domains, and now it's like is it a resume thing, or is it, like, what's the point?
Yeah, I think it does turn into a track record type thing. I mean, even in Lido Nation's tool, like, you can now see like how, like, when I go in that tool and I search myself, I could see all the proposals that I did, all the proposals people tagged me in that I'm a part of that were other people's proposals. And so you're starting to get these resumes being able to be visualized inside our tools. Now in Idea Scale, that even though they updated it and added new features and fund new features for like being able to see more data on each of the users, it doesn't even come, it's not as useful as what, in my opinion, and as what Lido Nation has in there. But it's just coming together. I was just in his breakout room, Darlington's breakout room, for a little while, and they were the first question was, how do you get the data for this? And it's like, oh, well, there's spreadsheets that go in and out of IOG at all the different steps, and you just take all of that data and you aggregate all these CSV files, and then that's the data. And then it's not even, yeah, there's no like clean way of doing it. It's a real mess. Yeah.
So Lido Nation, they have a lot of data from the previous projects that they are collecting and so on. So are they also implementing reputation into all that data and like categorizing it?
It looks like they can. I'm not
Yeah,
sure if it's explicit.
Yeah, and I think they're going to start. He was talking about adding social features when I saw stuff about bookmarking in the chat today, and I don't know exactly, like, I don't follow him that closely to know what's all going on there, but definitely this is all inside the back of anyone's head that's in this space consistently, and just waiting for it to get there a lot. So you're in the right place.
Awesome. And what do you think is like one of the main challenges also of having on-chain reputation is this issue that people sell wallets? And for example, if they sell their wallet with a very good reputation, and then someone else buys it. What do you think
Yeah.
could be the mechanisms that could be used to avoid these types of issues?
Minting a PFP of yourself. I don't know. Like you have to do your face. I know, like for reputation stuff, like even Chris, when he's running these tests, is usually if it's over a Zoom or anything, you know, if we're trying to verify someone for the test, it's like, hey, can you pop your camera on real quick? And you get it real quick, face to face. Yep. See, there's Joker or Lee. Lee.
Hi.
Yes. And that's how you do
You
that
verify
step
them
of the
with
verification.
voice dids. So like when Joker talks on any social media, I know it's Joker.
Yeah.
I know he's here. Lee,
Another one
Lee,
too.
Lee's
Yeah.
somewhere here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm
you
here. I have
different
a
dids
very
you can make.
identifiable voice.
Yeah.
So you can have a voice did, you can have a facial recognition did, but your wallet reputation, I think, is mostly what tokens you hold, especially if you have any unique identifiers in your wallet. Anybody with an NFT in their wallet, I can track it back to everything I can dig into. It's scary, but that's what we want. If we want an open blockchain, we want an open source. For example, like all these wallets that I've been playing with, they have history on the blockchain. They have all these items. They have the token data in them. And like there's certain tokens that I made for tests. Sorry. Like for example, this one. So this is somebody's business card that I made for them because they joined our stake pool. So their stake key, their welcome date is in here. So their reputation is now on the blockchain. And if my computer didn't have so many tabs open, it would load a little faster. But
I don't know. Pool PM is doing that, or for me earlier today too. None of the images were loading.
well,
There
here
it
you go.
goes.
So I customized him a custom logo. So this is his logo, Mastodon Media, and I put N2O video editing on there, and I screenshotted it. So I made a special NFT for him. It's his own logo, but it's not the same as his logo. And then I sent it to him because I onboarded him to our stake pool. So his reputation is now on chain, and anybody who's in our stake pool can go and click on his handle and go and see what he does inside of our group. So his reputation is now on the blockchain. You can go buy his services. He's a video editor for work for the N2O pool, quotes for services. This logo is not for reuse. If you receive this token, join our pool. Enjoy this token and receipt for video editing or onboarding. So he can use this for a receipt or editing for services. He'll send the NFT, they send the ADA. If someone completes that transaction, boom, you know, he done business off the blockchain. And people can see what he does, right? Because I crafted him this custom NFT and gave it to him.
That's awesome.
Just an example.
So that is an NFT basically that you sent to his wallet, and you awarded him a reputation with that.
Yeah, I gave him a business card.
Yep.
With verifiable credentials because he joined our stake pool. Because I wasn't going to just give it to him for nothing, but because he joined our stake pool, I put his stake key in there. I verified him. I know him. He has connections right to his. So if you want to know who this guy is, you just click the URL right here, and boom, it brings you right to hit the real guy. Here he is, real guy. So reputation on the blockchain.
Yeah,
in his little bit card.
That's awesome. Like that's yeah, we are also starting to work on our contracts to start minting NFTs so we can award people a reputation in a similar way. So thank you tokens, for example, if you and I collaborated on a project, then I would be able to send you a token to your profile, and you will be able to showcase that and prove that we actually had a project in common. And that token will give you some points to increase your reputation score.
Hey, Manuel. That's great, Sylvia. It's Stephania. Sorry. Hey, Manuel. How are you today, sir?
Good. I was just looking at what you just brought up, and I just wanted to draw attention to, certain pain points in regard to the source of truth and the reference point. So I noticed, for example, that token, you minted it, and essentially points to Instagram, and these all really creates very weak guarantees when it comes to reputation. Essentially, like the core aspect of it that lands on chain is the recording of the action on chain that a certain token containing this reference point was made. But we don't have strong guarantees that back, say, the author of said token, or even the availability of that reference point. If Instagram shuts down your API or switches how they handle, they manage their links, it could be a problem. If they find out, oh, he's been duplicating someone else's page, that could be a problem as well. It's the classic Oracle problem as a whole. So reputation, is an engine that needs further enhancement and keen eyes. If you have a reputation system, we can build, just like Stephania is doing today, she can build a reputation system today. But then a given framework and standard will have to be a norm. And that would either have to happen naturally, in the sense that people see the value in it and it makes their life simpler. So in the case of Stephania, people are going to see the value in, hey, this is the place we're going to go to find people we can hire. It's got the interface, it's got the support, and it's got the user base that we would be interested in, and eventually you'd have mind and market share move over. But in the absence of that, you'd have to look for other models that essentially maintain its relevance. That's where you have token systems as well. That's where you have incentive systems as well to participate in whatever reputation framework is proposed. So I digress a bit, but coming back to just that, I just wanted to point out that it's definitely a cool thing you did with the assets. It's just worth mentioning the guarantees given to such
I totally get that. What do you think about the staking key? Because the whole goal was to get them in our stake pool and verify that job would be, but the staking key is they're in our stake pool. They came in on a certain date and they have a staking key they purchased from the pool. So if they stay staked in my pool, is that safe enough? Because Instagram can go do whatever they want, right? And it's not safe. But a staking key, reputation on Cardano, I don't care about anything else besides I met this guy, he's talked to me, and he joined our stake pool. That's the reputation that matters to me. Not his Instagram, but it helps.
It helps. You have the record that given Alice or Bob interacted with this particular stake pool. But then again, you still need to build that guarantee that this Alice and Bob is an Alice and Bob and not just someone say you may have put in that position or something. There has to be a two-way verification system, or at least a good synchrony assumption that works well to say, okay, this is not just any Alice and Bob, but so it goes back to the fact that the chain records the action. It records the action. Instead of you giving a token, that the alternative is the stake, the certificate assignment, essentially, because that's what the token is. It's a certificate. And same goes for when you sign a delegation transaction. You're certifying, or you're dishing out a certificate. So it's pretty much the same coin dished out differently. It all comes down to your guarantees. That's all. That's really what I'm trying to focus on. Especially when you're looking at reputation, that reputation could have ripples, and what decisions would follow after that. You want to have strong guarantees to that reputation. Think about, and this we go back to LinkedIn as a whole, whereby today anyone can really just say anything. Anyone can, say they're anything. If you social engineer yourself enough, you'd even have Jamie Dimon connecting with you. So it comes down to what are the assumptions.
History on the Cardano blockchain, because I've crafted so many NFTs in the past and done so many transactions. Why wouldn't I be verified myself to again onboard somebody else to the system? Because I've been on Cardano for months and months and over a year now. So
right.
Is my reputation not credible enough to onboard somebody and say I verify them?
Right. So if you zoom out on that context, just like every SPO who properly relays a block and produces a block every day, they are still till this second an adversary, and they still fall within a certain contingency, window. So what I'm saying is, yes, you can build your exhaustive, by what you've done. Okay, but the model being followed still has you as a potential threat. No matter, you can mint 1,000 blocks of Cardano blocks, you are still an adversary every second. Forced. So it's strong on that sense. Okay, we don't know what you're gonna do tomorrow. We don't know what situation you're gonna be placed into to do that. Just like, so I come from a banking background with JP Morgan Chase, and no matter how long I'd been with Chase, I would always still have to follow certain procedures when it came to, say, accessing certain accounts and stuff. No matter if this is a client I personally onboarded or personally manage, I will still have to follow these particular security steps because that's the assumption, that's a guarantee offered in the system that I have to take that. So just to zoom out on that, it's just to really just show you when it comes to guarantees, how weak or strong they may be and what they may be needed for,
So it comes back to the reputation of who's giving the reputation. I mean, my method doesn't need to be done by me. That's why I like it. Anybody can go do what I did. It was nothing special. That's the process I'm trying to get.
Right.
I don't know. You guys can try whatever you want.
Yeah, no. So pretty much like what you're saying, you're pretty much Satoshi in your own way in the sense that this is the protocol. Anyone can mint a block. Anyone can mine a block. But why isn't just anyone mining a block to get their own Bitcoin? Because there is a certain decorum. There is a certain framework that everyone builds consensus around. So pretty much like what I was saying with Stephania's program, consensus would either come out of the fact that there is a user base, there is a certain ease of use and convenience to being a part of her platform, or certain incentives have to draw in, more mind and market share to then establish that consensus. Today we go to Google, for our search results. Okay, not because Google pays us to, but because Google offers these niceties. We immediately go to Wikipedia for certain things, not because Wikipedia pays us or anything, but because a certain, has been created. And that's something you have to you have to really consider as a whole when you build, especially something when you build something that's intended to be open. Okay, now it's like, oh great, this is open. I didn't set any, standards around it. What happens when we have 5 different people interacting with that? How can we, did I mean for this to be interactive? If so, I should have laid out a plan. If I didn't, the participants have to lay out a plan as to how they agree. Pretty much like how when we hit the Shirley hard fork, we now realized that we had no standards for metadata. And then people like, what was the name? Conrad had to come out and say, hey, we're adopting these standards from here. We should all follow it. And even then, 6 months down the line, we still had a lot of people who didn't follow through. And then even till this day, we still have a lot of people who, veer off those standards. So does the word I'm trying to remember it. Is it entropy? I think it's entropy.
Entropy,
So
the custody startup?
No. It's not. It's a term. It's a concept.
Okay.
So
It's like energy not leaving a system, entropy.
Right,
It's the energy inside of it.
Good. So the system and energy. So you have a system and you have energy. A system is, for example, what you've proposed, and then the energy is the framework around it. So what entropy have you established that can say allow it to be considered? Because if you don't have entropy, it's just a system, that kind of thing. So that's just like I said, I'm at this point I'm digressing a little, but I just wanted to point at how far you want to go with, say, your idea, because it's a great thing you've done. You're onboarding people and you're kind of establishing these tokens that would refer you to an Instagram page or something. But it's like stake. That's great. That's brilliant. But then if we're in a business circle, well, we're talking about, say, giving someone $1 million, giving someone $500 million to go build something or to go produce something. The guarantees are not there yet. It's pretty much like, and I'm glad we can have a lot of like parallels with even chains as a whole. All right, it's like if you're using a chain without a good finality system, you can't just send $1 million and say, okay, I've sent you $1 million, I can walk away 5 seconds now. No. Okay, picking Bitcoin for example, no, you'd have to wait for like, I don't know, 2-3 days, because that's what the guarantees, in following the guarantees provided, we have to wait for 3 days. If you don't follow those guarantees and you put them out as those are strong guarantees, even though they are not, you could leave 5 seconds and the longest chain would not contain that transaction. So
It has 4.5-second transaction times. Can we just do it there?
No. So I'm using an analogy, not practicality, but in the sense that, yeah. So you have Algo, for example, which has certain guarantees. Okay, for Algo gives you that instant finality, not because it gives you instant finality, but because the chance of a given transaction on a chain path forking is like 10 raised to the power minus 16 or something. Okay, it's a negligible chance of that happening, and so you're able to build a strong guarantee, and based off of that assumption, and you're able to keep running. So these are things, like I said, it depends on what you're doing and the entropy you set. So like I said, a social circle where you guys are hanging out, you're getting to know each other, yes, that's great. But you talk about stakes in the highest, then you have to have a strong guarantee. App specific, it's more around connecting employees and connecting people who freelancers, people who work and stuff. All right, but then it's not where I wouldn't imagine GoingUP to be the place where you go to and say, I want to invest $1 million into like a project, what are the, it's not like a Kickstarter platform. No, you're not going there to go find projects to invest into. You're going there to find someone who can help you, who there's a different kind of value intended to be exchanged, that kind of thing. Like, yeah, I think I've gone on for too much and too long, but then I still love.
All right, what's your answer to this? What's your answer? So, that was only one token test.
Right.
What is your answer to reputation, and what do you want to see?
You want to build good. So you want to build stronger. You want to build stronger guarantees with high. Like this, she would now have to like really ensure that she has a platform that works, that has an ingenious protocol that's able to properly aggregate the various bits and pieces of info that is shared around between different people. It has to it needs to gradually build that network effect that people can know, love, and trust. And at least you have a certain level of social consensus. In the absence of that, you would have to use more economic models or more economic consensus, such as before Stephania, let's say Stephania owned a business and she was about to hire someone to do work. And all of that goes on. Before Stephania can validly issue that token to anyone, a certain economic cost has to be put on the line, in this case, stake, but in a manner that still doesn't put her at a disadvantage, but allows her to be wary. You have, or in this case, crypto economic models to control how you issue reputation. We're doing this because we're not trying to be centralized. We're trying to be decentralized. So, just like with Bitcoin, it's expected you hit a certain hash rate, or with, say, Cardano, you're expected to hit a certain stake level. There has to be that, that middle ground whereby whoever's issuing is also not at, at a disadvantage. So you have the conversation around in crypto and, just blockchain architecture, you have the concept around liveness and correctness, whereby you trust the miner to do something and you also trust a given client or user to also do something. And if these two things are done, I wish I could go in depth, but my mind is frying out right now. But if these two entities achieve this, you have liveness and correctness, and you can keep going. But the absence of one, you have certain contingencies to make up for that loss. So you're able to, so you have a guarantee level. System, if we're to go on that, that isn't keenly looking at social consensus, but trying to establish economic-based models. But this is all still in early stages, and there's so many platforms out there. Yesterday, Optimism released like an interesting model that for their governance system that uses a good chunk of reputation in a very static approach. And I'm yet to see more on that. So yeah, there's still a lot. There's still a lot around reputation. But an answer for you is that's like an approach that can be considered.
I must intervene. I still don't understand where are you going. What was your solution? Or
stronger guarantees. That's really.
But on what?
On the source of truth and the maintenance of the truth, or that availability of that truth.
But okay, and which is the truth you want to vouch?
So with Chris Keller's idea, essentially, he's basically.
No, I don't. I want the truth. Which is the truth you're going to vouch?
Well, the truth that meets the right criteria. If you're telling me, say, Alice is this, what was the risk? What was the work done to have you confidently say Alice is this without me knowing that you are not tricking me, you are not lying to me?
So you want to have arbitrary claims.
In this case, it will be arbitrary because we're in in an open system. That's what you'd have to do because we don't have a framework. We don't have a centralized framework. So you would have to have some guarantee to ensure that whatever source of truth is well vetted through.
And by the framework, you mean a standard to support how this is going to be
right.
Yeah.
Given whatever set is interacting with this, or whatever cluster is interacting with this. Oscar, does that clarify for you much better?
Not really. It's like I'm still going on the basics. Like which truth? You just want to verify everything, which means you want to become an oracle.
That's what oracles deal with every day. They have to deal with the source of truth. And Chris's, thing he just showed over here essentially deals with a lot of data that is outside a given system. All right. The fact that he is claiming that a certain person who signed a transaction is this person and is connected to this page, which apparently they control. We do not have guarantee that they control that page. For example, Instagram or that Instagram page, we don't have control of that. And we don't have guarantee in the fact that, Chris did meet X person and that this wallet that did perform this transaction or did receive, not like, say, a random person or a person of Chris's own making.
I can show you proof.
But you're changing a lot of truth sources. I mean, vouching your own an account is already a solved problem. You have Keybase. You can always cryptographically prove you own an account because you just publish in that account something.
Exactly.
And then you read it outside.
Right.
I mean,
but
the first thing I'm asking is really, which is the truth you're going to vouch? Is this too generic? You're an oracle and you are mostly fucked up.
So if you
do you want to have reputations on simpler things, we can start building there. But I still don't know which is the truth you want to guarantee.
That's why I had to say that if you were using this for, like, say, a regular social circle with not much at stake, that's a simple system. That's something you can play around with that. But if you're going more complex, you need stronger guarantees. Now, coming back to the topic,
which is the complex? I just want to know which is the thing you want.
In the case whereby, say, a given VC would want to fund a project. They go to a Kickstarter-like project and they want to find reputation of, say, given participants of a given startup to fund, to throw $1 billion into. You would need, and this reputation, which the VC would have to review, for example, isn't something that comes from a centralized point, but something that's curated organically in an open manner. Okay, so then the VC would need strong assumptions to say, okay, all of this data has been aggregated properly, all of this data has been submitted properly, and is true. Now, coming back to what you mentioned about, people could just sign transactions and stuff. Yes, Chris is telling us that he goes out, he meets people, and then he makes them join a stake pool, and then he gives them a token. And when you click that token essentially opens a third-party system, in this case, Instagram, to show that, oh, this is the person, okay? Now, you That is Chris's word to me. That's for me to think that this address right here belongs to a random person did stake. And then also this random person does own this Instagram page. These are literally systems that are out of our control being put onto, say, the blockchain. So you need guarantees that certifies each and every end. Okay. For example,
but because you did those things, you're guaranteeing only those things, and that's enough.
Yeah, but you need a strong guarantee around that. Okay,
that's the strong guarantees. Like you just signed, you
no,
Instagram, a signature. I mean,
that's not a strong guarantee. That's me going out, so I can literally.
Is it because they can control that Instagram account?
Exactly.
And they can say what they want.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the guarantee you're improving. It's like I can have to say like I am Thomas and because I have written my name, but. That's the guarantee you have. How much worthy it is, it's different.
So for a reputation system that is meant to say scale out for like say enterprise, like I said, for a VC case, for example, you cannot work with those guarantees.
Yes, but that's a different problem. I mean, right now, any VC, so today reputation is based on history. We all leave traces, and that's equivalent of in the current system or on the blockchain. And you decide which traces are valuable to you. But that's independent on the evaluator.
Right. So we're talking about building these models. And the question is, what models are we building? Are we building models that are only good for like little things? Or are we building models that we see could extend into more? Okay. If, for example, and sorry to keep using Stephania's project, for example, but to what extent can Stephania's guarantees and models or entire algorithm as a whole be used for? Is this something that JP Morgan would trust? Or is this something that Alice and Bob down the street just looking for someone to mint their NFTs and help them build a website for their NFT drop can use? Those are very two different things.
But I think that trust will come up also with the standard. And if a group of people, they have a consensus that they all believe that the standard is the right way of assessing the people that are going to be assessed.
Exactly. Hence why I had to mention social consensus. And that's due to...
I mean, but what I'm still stuck in your talking is really, what are you trying to guarantee? Because you can have a bad reputation that is still valuable. You can be someone that is always late. And that's something everybody then accounts and say, oh, this person is always late. But then you can work on this. It's like reputation is only a history, and it depends on what do you want from that history. You can say this person is always late. That's his reputation, but that's irrelevant to me because I can always call him on the phone. It's just, I want you to tell me which is the truth you want to guarantee, and then we can build something. But if you tell me, do I get guarantees? I don't get guarantees. I'm still lost. Where are you trying to go?
If I tell you, for example, all right, this is a bit random in selection, but let me say Trump won the last election. Okay, that's a truth I've presented to you. What guarantees do you have if you're in a box? Okay, what guarantees do you have to know that history, that piece of history submitted is history?
No, you give me a statement, right?
Yeah.
And then I have to decide, do I care about that statement? Maybe I don't live in the US and I don't care about it.
Apparently you need it. Let's just say apparently
let's say I do need it.
Right.
Then I do, how is this? I do risk management. Is it relevant for what I'm using? Maybe I don't need to care if Trump won the last election or if the sun goes around the earth.
For the sake of this example,
if you're NASA, you care that the sun is relatively static and it's the earth spinning. But if you're doing agriculture, you don't care. I mean, the guarantee depends, like the reliability. You don't need a guarantee on the statement. You need the reliability, and that depends on the person that wants the information.
Right, and I've mentioned that as well. So coming back to should you care? Okay, this is a system. Remember, in this example, you need this information. You need this. Okay, it's not about if you need it. All right. And then also you need a reliability, in this case, availability, the constant availability of this history. Okay.
Yes,
And that's to be maintained. Someday I could click into that tag, which say Chris has done, and that Instagram page will not be the same, or that Instagram page will not be there anymore. And when that happens, where else will I find who this person is on social media?
Okay. Then you have, but then you're looking for a different service.
You're working with the reputation
you're paying
system.
Chris to have always a copy of Instagram.
You're working with the reputation system. Exactly. That is using data to establish a given graph. And if all these endpoints don't have the guarantees you need, you're going to have an interesting graph.
Well, you're going after a different person, and you're trying to solve the exact opposite thing that I'm trying to solve, because you're saying VC funds somebody with reputation. I don't care. What I'm trying to do is let the little guy make a reputation and verify it through their community. I'm on a whole different little parsed test.
Right, and that's why I had to share that. If you were just doing like a regular social hangout and everything, this could be ideal for you. This is something that works for you. Okay, that's me speaking of how big or small can you go with this. If you're in regular social circles and stuff.
So big, so much bigger than anywhere else, because I can scale.
No. We're not talking about scale in terms of like, you know, adoption or anything, but in terms of efficacy. Okay. Google, let's say JP Morgan doesn't go onto Twitter to look for financial news, or doesn't open Cointelegraph for financial news. They have their own sources, because Cointelegraph and Twitter do not have that level of efficacy they need for the data they need.
It's not my business to worry about their
Right,
data.
right, and I understand that.
I have no idea where we're going.
This is I'm starting to agree with Chris very fast. It's like, and it's what I'm asking since the very beginning. Tell me which is the truth you want the guarantee over, then you build the system.
But then you build small systems. You build small systems that
it's not size, it's the target that matters.
You mean that the target user that is going to use that reputation?
What do you want to verify? Do you want to verify the if people is born somewhere? Do you want to verify a presidential history? Do you want to verify astronomic events? It's like, first tell me what is you're trying to verify, and then the reliability that you want. Yeah, and depending on that, you can build something.
Right.
You said an example of Cointelegraph and why JP Morgan doesn't use Cointelegraph news. That's right, because they are trying to go for different things.
Right. So you're building you're being like, say, genre specific. Okay.
Yes.
And what happens when, you know, so what you become is a feature. And that's fine. That is fine. That's completely fine. You can build in that way. All right. I'm under the guise that always talk about reputation systems. Okay. But what the approach you're taking in terms of being genre specific makes you a feature. Okay. That's like, say, I'll give you a perfect example. It's a real world example. You have Lemuria Finance, which came a few days or weeks ago, which is just a yield aggregator. Okay. That's all they are. And then you have Muesli Swap, which has an inbuilt yield aggregator. You see the difference?
No, I still don't know what you're trying
One
to
entire product
for example,
is another product's feature because of its expansiveness. But like I said, you can build that way. That's fine. That's completely fine. I'm just stating that, okay, this particular something could only be a feature.
So for example, in the case of GoingUP, what we want to verify is that are the people collaborating in projects, and are they completing their projects or not? That's one of the key things that we want to verify. And are those people trustworthy enough to start a new project with them, or are they going to run away and leave a project incomplete, or maybe run away with the proceeds or the money that was generated for the project. For example, in the case of artists or people who want to create NFT collectibles, like, can I meet in this platform people that I can trust and I can start a new project and deliver it from end to from beginning to end?
Right, exactly. So much like what Oscar's saying,
but
genre
then I see, Emmanuel, you're going outside different scopes. It's like, Stephania, you're doing a history tracker and you're saying, I follow these people and I know how much they do. But then it's the person that decides, okay, this person completed 8 projects, I trust it. Like, and there will be people that say, no, until they do 20 projects that I like, I will trust them. But it's the person that decides the reliability they need for the information.
Right. No, you're right.
Not the
You're
platform.
right.
The platform gives you a guarantee of procedures. Like,
yeah,
we did follow these people for so many projects, and we were there.
Right. So that's why I'm coming back to guarantees and the scoring system. Okay. So whatever
is there to give you the platform is there to give you a score and give you an idea of are these people good or not? Are they reliable or not? And can I avoid false positive and avoid wasting time with people that are not worth your time? That's the role of the platform and the scoring. At least
who sets the score?
So the score is
or how can I tune the score? I mean, as I said, I can have different standards. I can say, if this person is asking for so much money and have completed 2 projects, it's good enough. Maybe I say, no, I need to see 6 projects.
Right. So
or maybe I want to see 6 projects and I want to at least see 2 that are different.
Right. So that
I know they are creative. I mean,
right. So that goes against
the person that needs information
also
has to evaluate.
Right. So this is something which everything you've just said now really goes against everything you just said prior, because now you need something more expansive, don't you? You don't need that specific system. Okay. The platform developer now.
I'm not expanding. I'm saying, give me the truths you're going to vouch for. That's the thing I'm asking. Are you asking project history, or are you asking astronomical effects? Maybe you want both. I don't know. Why would you like to build a score when you know, has this person did so many projects below a time of so many full moons? I don't know. Maybe you want to have both. Maybe you don't. I need to know which is the truth you're giving me.
You're just asking now for tuning. That's what you're asking for. You're asking for the
person decides. The
person decides, but the platform has to provide.
No, you pay each source. Sometimes you want to pay twice 2 services for the same data.
Okay. I think I'm done. Yeah.
You mean like people could use that information and not be sure that is a reliable source of information. So they will look for a different provider that will give them a different score so they can compare and see which one is the most reliable one. Is that what you mean, Oscar?
No, I'm saying you as the person needing the information are the one that decides the cost of a failure. And that's it. I mean, there's people that in general will say, I will ask 3 platforms because I want. I will because I have the money and because the information is valuable.
Yeah, you're right.
There are things where a friend tells me, look, this person is nice. Can you host them in your home? And say, okay, I have a transitive relationship with this person. I will bring a now known person in my home because a friend just told me. I don't need to ask 2 more friends. And it's the value at risk. And more than the value at risk is like, why do I need this information with this much reliability? It's like, why do I need it? And then I can ask, like, you can say, I want, again, history of work. And who is going to give me the history of work? Maybe I have to do the history of work myself. It's like you first need to know what are you looking for. I'm asking from the beginning, like, which is the truth you're going to guarantee?
So, for example, also for GoingUP, we want to track informal work. for example, many people get involved in DAOs or small projects, and a lot of those things are on track. Or for example, if people do volunteering, or if they are president for some associations, all those things are on track. And if there is a token that could also prove that they actually were part of a certain group, a volunteering group, or NFT project, or a DAO, that could also prove that their work experience, and that's also that we are accounting to build, and that proof would also increase the reputation score in the future. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I just wonder, was like, I just said, personal reputation is just a history, and in general, you as a person leave traces.
Yes.
Unless you're trying not to leave traces, and that's a different goal. But in general, you just leave traces. But the person decides your, I don't know, score or whatever, depending on what they want from you. I just say, you can have someone that is always late. Do you care about that person being always late? I mean, there was a time I needed like tailored suits. And sometimes you care, like, does the tailor deliver on time, or does the tailor deliver something great? Sometimes you might find one that does both. Most of the time, tailors are late. And sometimes you just say, no, I just want the one that delivers on time. It's like you decide the reliability. It's like, what is that you want? And who is giving you that information? Now, if I want history, in general, I just dig it myself. If I need history from somebody else, you already need, if you want a certain kind of history to be reliable, you first build a marketplace around it. That's Facebook. It's like, we are trapped in Facebook, and is Facebook's data reliable? Pretty much. It's like, you know, the darkest secrets of people more than the people that gave their secrets. I mean, there was this statistics, like Facebook knows if you smoke after 16 likes and your sexual orientation before the 100 likes. Like, they just know everything about you, but they build a marketplace on something they know.
Because they have collected so much data that it's very easy for them.
The thing is, which is the thing you want to collect and why? Is like I say, we all humans leave traces. And then what does Facebook customers care about? They don't care if you're reliable. They care if you're susceptible. They care about, like, this person, when they see this ad, they probably will hit on it. And most certainly, if they hit on it, they will also buy. Yeah, they are not giving, and you what build a reputation on susceptibility. Yeah, but you have to see which is the thing you're trying to vouch for, and which is the reliability your customer needs on what. Yeah, it's like, and your customer on himself will decide, is like, how much of this reliability do I need? It's like, is it fine that this person that is always reading financial news doesn't click my insurance advertisement? If I pay like 40 cents for that click, yeah, I really don't care.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So like, you mean like being super specific about what is going to be measured, and if that information is tailored for a specific type of user and customer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you need to start with the customers. Like, I just said, like, which is the truth you're going to give, and why is that truth important to someone? Yeah. I'm telling you, it's like, if you're doing agriculture, it doesn't matter that the earth spins around the sun. Yeah, because what you only need to know is the season.
Yes.
And you say, like, it's 3 months, 3 months, 3 months. That's the only thing that matters. Yeah. If you are launching a spaceship, no, you need to know the position in space. You need the different data and data that might be more expensive. But until you have a customer for your data, you cannot build a system for guaranteeing that data. And you also cannot know which is the reliability of your customer, the reliability requirement of your customer. It's like, do I really need very precise? Do I don't need that precise? Do I need 1 year of history? Do I need 10 years of history? Do I need facts more than history? It's like, you need to know what you're trying to guarantee.
Yeah, so for at least for GoingUP, for now, for the beginning, we are focusing on two different types of user, but we want to narrow it even more. So we are focusing on corporates, so Web3 businesses who want to hire either creative or developers from the crypto space. And on the other side, we are focusing also on creators who want to collaborate with other creators and start NFT projects or crypto art projects. But those two user groups are quite different, and they are measuring different things. And as you said, like, we need to find a point that either matches with the needs of those two user groups, or we just focus on only one of them, and when we will build something really good for them.
Okay. So, and why don't like developers just advertise themselves in LinkedIn, and artists, and I don't know where artists advertise themselves? I mean, there's already a platform for those things. And for example, freelance developers, like they have Fiverr and all those things. It's like, and they also have a reputation system. No, they don't have a reputation. They have a history system and a review system.
Yeah. So at least I discussed with like more than 40 artists, and most of them, they don't have LinkedIn. And some of them, they use Fiverr just for side gigs. But if they want to meet specific people who are working in the crypto space, it's quite difficult, especially if they are new. That's a fact that for the people who are new, they don't know where to find people that they can create new projects and start a collectible or a crypto art project or a movie or whatever creative project that they want to start. And the problem that they face is that sometimes they find people on Discord that they are recommended by other people, but then they find out that those people are not reliable because they didn't know about them before, or in some cases some people have been scammed and they start a contract. They sign a smart contract in between them, and someone just keeps the money that was generated from the sale or something like that. Those are the cases that I have been witnessing in the crypto space. And those,
but I think you are going for the wrong problem. I mean, if you say people don't meet, then what you do is a meeting place. You do a website where you say, I just collect the history of projects. And the other thing is signing a smart contract wrong. That's an education problem, not a reputation problem.
So well, it's not that
when I meet a person I don't know, I go very casually. It's like,
well, that's not a really honest way to approach it, because you can't just say, oh, create an event space or a social media point for people to come and communicate. All right, that brings in the wolves and the sheep as well. Okay, and you can have people.
But that's life.
No, but it shouldn't be that way if things can be done to mitigate that. Okay, you don't always take what's dealt to you. You mitigate what you receive or what you go out to experience. Okay, you go onto LinkedIn today, you find all sorts of people claiming to be Web3 this, NFT that, and what do they have to show for it or be of it? Okay, I mean, but hey, guess what?
That's no different than a headhunter and a job interview.
Right, but look at this.
Oh, you are expert in Kubernetes. Show it. It's like, then I ask you, like, explain me this. It's like, if they can't, you know.
Right.
If you don't know, it's an education problem.
Right, but then guess what? everyone is working fast paced. Not everyone has the time to now go through a certain retraining or onboarding process to know how to really find people, or don't even know what metrics to look out for. So you go into YouTube as a recruiter, you pick someone up, I say YouTube, LinkedIn as a recruiter, you pick someone up, you don't have the training or whatever you need to prove that, okay, this is that. And mind you, average recruiters, when they go onto LinkedIn and they pick someone, the guarantee they have is, okay, this filtration system has been applied, but even then we have our own internal system whereby we can background check, whereby we can contact these entities and these organizations. Okay, that is something average people down the street do not have a luxury of processing. Okay, and that's what these systems solve.
I mean, I grant you, it's like the recruiter that goes over LinkedIn has no idea what they know or want. And I, as a person that gets LinkedIn messages, no, I'm not even answering to this recruiter because they have no idea.
Right. So now let's take a
like,
out to the picture.
Then your problem is like, I do need to capacitate the recruiter. It's like,
so
you're always going to the wrong place.
The recruiter is point A. Now let's take the recruiter out and let's put an up and coming startup founder or up and coming someone who just wants to, they're a great artist. They just need people to build a website and help them create a Solidity based smart contract to do their work. What is that person going to do now?
I mean, that person needs to understand why does he need it. I mean, this is the thing. I would never work for a startup or a company that doesn't know why they are hiring me for.
They understand.
Like, you want to know that your boss knows.
The boss knows why he needs, say, a front-end developer. What the boss does not know is these three people he's looking at are all truly front-end developers with this level of expertise. And the boss, unfortunately, doesn't have a back-end of auditors and various resources to scavenge and, you know, background check who this particular person is. That's what the boss doesn't have access to, okay? Because these systems are centrally controlled and managed. Now, something like what Stephania is building in the world of reputation in a decentralized manner is what takes that away and gives you a more open ecosystem to achieve that.
And it builds a track record so you can verify the information fast and avoid wasting time by calling people, like digging and asking people for their feedback and waiting that they reply to you and so on.
And then I want to ask, why do you want to make it decentralized?
Just because centralized systems.
Information is valuable, and that's why you close information. You want to
say,
but I have this information. Pay me for this valuable information because information is valuable.
You're saying it yourself. My information is valuable. I've gathered this, and I'm the only person you can receive it from. And guess what? I'm going to charge you an arm and leg for that. Well, too bad. All right. This startup person doesn't have an arm and leg to give for this piece of information. Should they lose because of that? Should they?
Yes. That's called competitive advantage.
No, that's
knowing why your information is that valuable.
That's capitalism and accepting the pains of it when there is an alternative solution. Here's the thing. You see the reality as the end all be all. Well, there are people who see alternatives that can work. And if there's an alternative that can work, there is no reason to not pursue it. Okay. So we're in two different worlds right now. You're in the world of it is the way it is because it is the way it is. And some of us think it is the way it is, but it could be another way.
I'm telling you, it doesn't make economic sense.
Well, that's
if I have valuable information, I will sell it at a price.
That's what we're discussing about.
Justifies my work. And that's why I told before. If you want to give that information, you want to know who is going to buy it from you. And you want to know what is the reliability that the person needs. You want to know that information before so you can give it to a customer.
So you see, that's why I'm saying
you want to lower the price of that information. That's a different goal.
You're in two different worlds, right? Okay, you're thinking that all of this has to have a given hanging axe over it. When I'm saying platforms like Stephania's, for example, could run on two different models, an economic model. Okay, even in a decentralized system, and I've said this before, I don't know if you missed me when I said that, but there can be an economic model to handle these guarantees, or there can be a given social consensus based on whatever frameworks are established by the mutual people involved. Okay, you don't follow ERC 720 standards because whoever made it asked you to pay money for it. Okay, you don't do that. You do that because there's a certain social standard around it. Okay, you don't pay for, say, Workable or Indeed because it's free. No, you pay for it because they said no. We have that data. You pay for us if you're a company and you want to get that data. That's where you stand right there.
Yes.
Well,
I pay for the data I want, and I follow the standards because that's what people understand.
Well, newsflash.
And you can be
standards.
Microsoft and just go the whole way on your standard and say, fuck the world. Or
right.
No,
and there are people
Cisco is the
do
most
that.
horrible company to work with because they say, we are industry leaders, and they just don't obey standards. They just do their own thing. And that's horrible when you support Cisco and other hardware providers. But those are different problems. I'm trying to say, you want to build reputation? Why? Who wants that? Yeah, and then you have to have, if you're going to do it as a company, you have to have an economic profit so that you can actually keep the company running. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is an economic profit, so the company can keep running.
Yeah, I mean,
I literally said that there has to be economic models put in place to ensure that guarantee. And that economic model isn't just because it's an economic model, but because it benefits someone. Okay, when you run a Cardano transaction, you're not only benefiting a given validator, you're benefiting a central treasury, for example. Okay, so it's kind of like
you're mixing too many ideas.
What is your background, Oscar?
We went for, let's do reputation. Let's do which is more punctual, like which is the truth you want to verify. Then you want to collect that data and provide it at the reliability your customer wants. That's all you need. Then you make an economic model to say it is profitable to gather this data for this customer. Yeah. And then the customer will make a different calculation on his side to say it is good enough at that price for the reliability I want.
But that's you trying to build
those
a
are
business
two different economic calculations.
Right. So that's you building a business out there straight out of the door to essentially make profit and make whatever gains at the exchange of a given resource, which is not wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are systems that can be in place to have it such that we don't pull you. You come if you want. This is our rules. This is our system. We can run for days, years, months, and not make a single penny off of it. But this is a system we run. Okay, and to you, that is not an exciting system. That's understandable.
No,
that's why you have the open
I'm
source
just saying
community.
you have to do it at the price to run the company to make sense. If you get free Amazon Web Services for more than a year and Google searches for free, you can run a company without cost. But if it costs you to go and meet every single artist and every single web developer, you need to be able to collect that information and sell it at a profit. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
No, I think you're right. And for example, we will have, our plan is to have a premium membership that provides a lot more information to the customers and analyzes all that data. So then they can have extra information that the free users won't be available to have. That's how we plan to make
that's a model you have. And maybe Stephania's competitor will be someone who take the entire algorithm Stephania has and just keeps us an open system and lets it run openly. Okay. And that's something which you, Oscar, would not see as rational or reasonable. Like, why would you keep maintaining this? Why would you allow this to keep running when people are making money off of it? That's where you're standing at. You're like, oh, there's no, lifetime out of this. There's no way this is gonna live on. It's gonna die out. Okay. Well, that's what happens when you have open ecosystems. All right. The entire Linux project is completely open source to so many degrees, but there's still a given, commercial aspect to it to whatever degree. Okay.
What do you think, Peter?
What do I think? Oh, I see. There's Oscar is really good at breaking things down to like business terms, where's the rubber meet the road? Manuel's has dreams of open source for everyone, and I see that, but that still has to be in our world today. You have to keep 1 foot in traditional finance, how's the world work, and 1 foot where we get to experiment and play and try and figure out how to make things more open for everyone. Now, you have to, in order to start anything, you have to be profitable, because there's lots of people trying to start stuff in Catalyst and leaving because they don't make any money. And so, like Chris said earlier, money is is what makes the world go around, because that's the blood for our egregore or whatever, and how we interface with each other. So I don't know if that answered what I think. I think we're gonna have lots of different companies like your company going up, making different types of reputation, just like, and they're going to be, their standardization will probably end up being a level of standard that gets that the market will tell us is what the customers want. And then there's going to be companies that are able to service more niche markets because they're in there and on the ground over there and around those communities and be able to make better data for those communities. So, but at the same time, it's got to start somewhere. And because there's no examples of it, we can kind of, yeah, you end up with these two different perspectives. It's great.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like in the same way that, for example, right now there are so many companies that are measuring ESG rates, like environmental, social governance, and they have different ways of doing it, and they are still valuable. And some companies buy that information from different sources, and then they verify and take the one that is most reliable for the use case.
Yeah. I'm a project manager. I just
You also know the customer needs to be happy, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
the customer pays, and either the customer pays enough or you don't do it. And it's not that I don't want a world of things that are open. I am in the free software world since I was 14. I mean, I believe in that. And
what is your background, Oscar?
It's virtual. It's a dojo in
Oh, no,
Japan.
no. I mean your professional background.
Oh, I studied physics and I did a PhD simulating correlated electrons. Mm-hmm. Then I moved to programming, and you're left with double cost.
Yeah. Where are you based, Oscar?
In the metaverse.
There you go. In the Zen studio.
No, it's just your accent sounds familiar. Are you from South America?
Yes.
Cool. I'm also from South America.
Yeah.
Yep. I was gonna say big companies like Amazon, you know, they did free shipping and stuff and lost money for years and years and years, but they sucked up a bunch of users essentially. And
Amazon was never losing money. Amazon never made a profit. That's a different thing.
Yeah,
but
they
lost money on that value. The value of fast shipping is what was the differentiating factor, not necessarily that it was that you could order something and be on your doorstep in 2 days versus you having to go out to the store, go out to Walmart and buy the same thing, and so it's willing to pay the same price essentially and get it relatively faster than any other service without having to leave. And they did pay for that heavily. Now, yeah, they did not like they lost money overall, but they lost money to do that service.
But the AWS was profitable immediately, so that's how they started to make money. Because with the delivery, yeah, they didn't they were not making profit, but with AWS, yes.
I mean, Amazon does not make profit, and that's something Jeff Bezos swore not to do. It's like Amazon from its inception has never made a profit.
But
Because if they don't do profit, they don't pay taxes. Yeah.
Yep.
And Amazon had from day one a tax strategy. It's like part of being far away means every time you switch US state boundary, you don't pay the taxes because it's kind of an export. I mean, I really admire Jeff Bezos. I mean, but you cannot say they made a loss. It's like they just had a cost of doing business. And it's like, and Jeff was really, really smart on not making profit, because he said, okay, I don't pay taxes, but I get to pay for everything. And it's just a different strategy. And you can see Jeff Bezos run a non-profit for profit all the time. Yeah, it's like he just followed the profit rules, but he always had operating expenses matching his revenue. But that's a strategy, and he survived that very well. But
they also have a very good innovation strategy, and
I mean, he does a lot of things really well. Now he got bored and started making rockets, and now he believes lawyers are more important than scientists. So he sues Elon Musk for some contracts with the government in comparison to trying to invest in more scientists. And maybe he's right. I don't know. But now you see a lot of wealthy people fighting against each other. But I mean, what I say is like, you need to have a view on the customer. And Jeff Bezos tells it all the time. It's like, what does the customer want? He wants cheaper prices and fast, right? And he has an interviews, and it's like, a customer will never say that, I wish you had charged more than take more on delivery. It's like, no, it's like, you see, it's like, that is the customer want, at which price can I get it? Yeah.
yes,
And he keeps dropping the price. Maybe keep dropping the price implies not paying well the people in the warehouses, right? Or having super timing on like, as if those people were robots. And maybe say, oh, these people are not robot-y enough, so I will buy these robots that rearrange the warehouses. I mean, he tries to bring the costs down. Yeah, that's what I say. It's like, if you make it for free, you can also give a discount on your price. Yeah, but you have to see that you have enough revenue to cover the operating costs. And that is, yeah, your suppliers, your own living expenses, whatever. I mean, it has to make economic sense. Yeah, Amazon never lost money. They never did a profit. They were on zero, and that was a magical, not magical, a well-crafted system, but you just have to make this work for you economically.
yes. Hi, Megan. How are you?
Awesome. Yeah, this was great, guys. I appreciated that back and forth. It was enrapturing, but I think I'm going to hop off now. Been on this in front of this Zoom screen for like 6 hours already, so
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
thanks for joining.
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
I just want to remind everyone, please, Catalyst is still open. GoingUP is in the Great Migration, so please consider to vote for GoingUP. We are building
Yes.
an on-chain reputation, building application in Cardano. And yes.
Awesome. Yep. See you guys next week or around. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Plus
Bye.
pizza.
Bye.